everybody. Welcome to Impossible Coin. Today,
There's three of us this week. It's very exciting.
It's true. I'm joined by Tegan Somerset,
Yes.
who I believe has less teeth.
Yeah, I have less teeth. Well, I still have the teeth. They are just no longer inside my head. They let me keep my teeth.
As they should.
Yeah, I did have to ask for them at the beginning, but they did let me keep my teeth. It was very exciting. And now my jaw doesn't hurt at all. Not like it hurt before, but like it's back to not hurting at all, which is also very important. These are key factors.
So you're saying your post-tooth removal pain has now subsided?
Yes, the post-tooth removal pain has now subsided. The exception is, and this is a most unfortunate circumstance, when I am eating candy corn and like the sugary saliva gets in the holes in my jaw. That's the only time. I'm sorry, Brian. That's the only time it hurts. The rest of the time it's fine. They should close up soon, hopefully, all the way.
I want to believe.
I want to believe too. So that's what we're believing.
Rocky Hardy, what's your position on candy corn?
It's cool.
It's delicious.
I've always thought that people getting really upset about it was weird.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot better things in general to get angry about. And hell, if you want to get angry about candy, there's even better candy to get angry about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Bit-O-Honey.
Tegan, walk us through that.
Bit-O-Honey just gets stuck in my teeth a lot, and so like I find that even though it is sort of branded as like a chewy candy, it really is more of a sucking candy.
That's definitely my takeaway too.
Okay, yeah. That's my main gripe with Bit-O-Honey.
My favorite part of the Bit-O-Honey experience is there seems to be a point at which when you're like just working at sucking it, that like just the textural composition of the whole thing changes.
Yeah.
It like breaks apart like an iceberg on your tongue.
Yeah.
And I think that's the moment for Bit-O-Honey, but it's a hell of a lot of work to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm just frozen because fair listeners, I, Brian Cartwright, am looking into our show doc where the words working on sucking it were typed, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you said those words, and now they're in our show doc.
Yeah, it's true, I did. You know what else is working on sucking it?
What?
Baldur the Guardian Owls, a game which completely fucking fell off a cliff.
What do you mean it fell off a cliff?
I mean, it fell off a cliff. Like, the very early moments of that game were full of promise, and then, like, almost immediately after those very early moments, doing literally anything in the game became a chore.
Aww.
There was a moment where I got sent to hunt for turnips, and it was very bad. It was very bad. There was no indication as to the total number of turnips I needed to find. I was just given a quest, go find turnips. And I would attempt to turn in turnips to the quest giver. They were like, these aren't enough turnips. And I would go find like a couple more turnips, go back and be like, sorry, these still aren't enough turnips. The turnips themselves would blend into the background. Sometimes the turnips would be placed near stationary objects which had other interactions. And so when I would attempt to collect the turnip, I would instead do something like, say, open a gate or call an owl. So I was literally like fighting with the buttons just to collect the fucking turnips. Also, as a bonus, the turnips blended into the background in some places. So like I would run around looking for the turnips and be like, I thought I found all the turnips. Wait, no. Okay, there's a turnip there blending into the background.
That sounds lovely. That sounds like my favorite kind of quest. And by favorite, I do mean least favorite.
Yeah. The writing for all the characters like fell off a cliff. It's all like very, very like overly long and has like lots of like just bad grammar, and sometimes like the text for character dialogue will literally run outside of the on-the-screen box for the character dialogue. Like they'll bring up the box for characters having a conversation, and like the box has like room for like 4 lines neatly, but they'll render 5 lines, and so there'll be like a line outside the box which is illegible.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fun. Love that.
Sometimes puzzles are outright broken and don't work the way that they think that they're supposed to. Like their intended solution doesn't work. So like when you use the game's like in-game hint system and they tell you how you're supposed to solve it, or like give you a hint toward how you solve it, you're like, yeah, game. No, the thing that you want me to do simply won't work. There was a puzzle which required me to get my companion to stand on a trigger switch, but because the trigger switch was down a flight of stairs, I couldn't get her to do it. So I had to basically lure an enemy into the puzzle area and then run down the stairs over to where the trigger switch was, wait for the enemy to follow me all the way to the trigger switch, and then bolt all the way back up to the one that I needed to stand on before the enemy could get off of the trigger switch. Because my companion couldn't be bothered to go down a flight of stairs. So
that doesn't sound great.
Yeah. I felt the need to check back in on it because like my initial impressions were positive, but then the game fell off a cliff. So yeah, Baldur the Guardian Owls, maybe not so much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I agree. I also finished Arietta of Spirits.
Oh, how was it?
It is a delightful, bite-sized Zelda-like. Yep. Yes.
That's what it looked like, so.
Yeah, if you would like to play a Zelda-like, which can be finished in about 3.5, 4 hours total, here you go. It's got a good enough like propulsive line to like pull you from stuff to stuff. The dungeon design is pretty neat. And there is enough like extra stuff around the edges that if you find yourself in a place where you're like, I'd like to spend just a little bit more time with this game and like, savor it. There's a couple side quests that you can pick up, which are like mainly driven by collectibles, but a good time. Like one of them is like, there's a cute creature from the spirit realm who's like looking for her kids, and I had a good time finding her 20 kids, etc. So it's a short game that doesn't overstay its welcome, and if you want to find an excuse to spend a little bit more time with it, the excuses are good. Yep. I also played Rustler. Have either of y'all heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But to be fair, I don't hear about most of the games that you play. So
Okay.
I don't know that that's exactly like a good judge of whether or not a game is known.
Okay. Rustler is real dumb, but in a good way. So Rustler is like riffing on Grand Theft Auto 2. So Grand Theft Auto 1 and Grand Theft Auto 2 were like top-down games.
Mm-hmm.
They were like top-down from like a very, very slight like tilt-shift angle. Like conceptually the same. You're still running around doing crime, stealing cars, sometimes like stealing police cars and performing police chases while you have a police car, grabbing a cab, etc. So Rustler takes the essential structure of Grand Theft Auto and transports it to the Middle Ages. So it's like, lol, it's Grand Theft Horse. And when I mean that, like, it's Grand Theft Horse, it is Grand Theft Horse. So I was playing this video game, and I stole a horse from a knight. And when I stole the horse, I was able to take it to pimp a horse in order to get the horse's hair dyed a different color.
Okay.
Yes. And the way that the game accomplishes a in-game radio system is that you can hire a bard to come along with you and sing music as you ride your horse. So it's like, lol, here's the bard. And the way you change channels like you would in a Grand Theft Auto game are either by tossing a coin to your bard or by punching your bard. So there is...
Ye old medieval radio station.
Yes. There are horses, which are pulling carts, and the horses have dressing on them that is a yellow and black check. And so if you steal these horses pulling carts and you pull up alongside people, they will get into the cart and they will tell you where they need to go. There are ye olde gangs having ye olde gang warfare that you can get involved in.
Mm-hmm. So it's just Grand Theft Auto, but set back a couple hundred years.
Yeah, like I think that's fair, but I think that they have done enough with the way that they... One of the things that like always makes Grand Theft Auto like I guess fall short for me is that it feels like the Hauser brothers have like no self-awareness whatsoever. Like they don't know when what they're writing is goofy, and they don't know when what they're writing is silly. And this definitely knows that this game is silly. This game definitely knows that this game is goofy. The beginning of Grand Theft Auto 2 was like a live action FMV sequence, and the beginning of Rustler recreates the opening of GTA 2, the FMV sequence, shot for shot, but in the Middle Ages. They're like, yeah, this is GTA 2.
So it sounds like if you like GTA, you'll like this game.
I'll put it this way. If you like the early GTA games, if you like GTA 1 and you like GTA 2, this GTA is for you. If your baseline for reference is like San Andreas or GTA 4 or GTA 5, then this game is not for you. But if you came into the Grand Theft Auto series back when the distribution of AOL discs was still a possibility, then this might be for you. It's been a good time thus far. I have enjoyed pimping my horse. Also played Lost in Random. I think this is one that you all know about.
Nope.
Okay, so this is from the EA Originals label, the thing where like EA funds the development of some indie game.
Mm-hmm.
And in this game, there is a kingdom, and what your lot in life is in the kingdom is determined by a single roll, a D6 on your 12th birthday. And so the evil queen, the queen of the kingdom of random, comes to this town, which is the town of the ones. And because it's a child's 12th birthday, and the child, who is named Odd, rolls a 6. Rolling a 6 means that Odd is fated to live in the palace with the queen.
Oh, okay.
Right. They high rolled it. And so, I mean, there seems to be some disagreement amongst like various characters in the game as to whether or not that is actually lucky. Because
the queen is actually evil?
Yes, because the queen is evil and the queen is cruel, and to roll a 6, which is like theoretically supposed to be the lap of luxury, just means that you're like within the crosshairs of the queen all the time.
If the queen was nice, it would be lucky though, right?
Right, but it's still like tearing somebody away from their family and their life against their will. And so like Odd gets taken to go live with the queen, and a year later, Odd's sister, Even, can't live with the unbearable sadness, and she starts seeing like this like thing that looks like a ghost, and follows it, and eventually like boards a ship of people who are attempting to stow away from the land of the ones, and the airship crashes, and she lands in like a world which is like covered in like a giant ancient dice. And she's running from a critter that wants to hurt her, and her call causes one of the dice, which is like much smaller, to come to life. And it turns out that like what the queen has been doing she's been like faking this ancient sacred relationship in the land of random. That like what is supposed to happen in random is that like everyone goes forth into the dice lands and like finds the living die to which they are spirit bound. So our character even meets her dice, and goes on the quest to go rescue her sister with them. It is a action RPG, and there's like lots of ducking and rolling around your enemies, and then periodically in combat, your die will roll, and it will dictate how much access you have to your like special ability cards that you have, which might be things like access to like a spectral crossbow or like a spiked club, which has significantly greater range. Defeat of like bosses and stuff will like add additional cards to your deck that you can have access to, and you can get cards which do stuff like restore health or give you additional rolls during combat, and then you like build action points for rolls naturally through just like regular swings of your weapon. So like there's enough combination between like strategy that can be controlled by the player and acknowledging the overall conceit of the world lost in random. It feels like a satisfying balance between the two ideas. The aesthetic of the game and like the way the story is delivered feels like very, very like Tim Burton, Henry Selick. Like it feels very Nightmare Before Christmas. Mm-hmm. So like I think if somebody liked Nightmare Before Christmas, somebody liked James and the Giant Peach, then they will vibe with this. It is a good feel. This is a good time. Something which is immensely frustrating but also a good time is Golf Club Wasteland. The idea behind Golf Club Wasteland is that the Earth has been destroyed due to inattention to climate change. People didn't do enough fast enough. And so the absolutely super wealthy who could leave moved to Mars. And now the super wealthy use the desolate landscape of Earth as a golf course. And so you are a super wealthy person from Mars who has returned to the ruined lands of Earth all alone to play a round of golf.
That's fucked up.
It is very fucked up. You find out stuff about yourself, like your own character, by making par on holes, at which point, like, if you make par, redacted, like, diary entries will be unredacted, and so then you'll, like, find out more about, like, your motivation to come to Earth. You find out pretty quickly, like, your character is elderly. You find out more about, like, the things which are going on now on Mars through listening to Radio Mars as you golf. And it's exactly as, like, most, like, current, like, science writers say that, like, if the billionaires succeed in getting off of Earth, the world that they will have up there won't be any great picnic because they'll have incredibly limited resources and no ready way to replenish them, right? Like, that basically all they would be doing is delaying their own deaths instead of doing something to, like, meaningfully preserve the world that exists. So you'll, like, be listening to, like, Radio Mars where they're playing old Earth oldies, and then, like, after a song, like, something will come on, like, hey, just to let you know, water rationing has been increased on Thursdays. Showers are now a mandatory 15 seconds. But just remember, take all 15 seconds because you deserve it because you're a billionaire. That kind of thing.
Oh, God. That sounds like garbage. I mean, good, it's what they deserve, but also, it sounds like garbage.
Right. And so, like, it's an incredibly, like, bleak experience. The animation on the little golfer is fantastic. Like, there are golf holes in the game which are definitely designed to be, like, just near impossible, like, where the hole is in relation to where you start golfing. Like, oh, I guess I'm golfing through this, like, bombed-out building, and there's all of this, like, weird shit which is in between me and the hole. The animations on, like, ball goes somewhere that the golfer didn't anticipate or want are fantastic. Like there's like a great like shoulder slump and frustration, depending on just how bad it goes. Like there's like a great like like shakes
like
fist,
a huge exaggeration sort of thing. A beats club into earth sort of.
Exactly. Like really, really good.
Gotcha.
And in a game which has to be like entirely emotionally driven by a single non-speaking protagonist, giving them good animation has got to be key. And they definitely did a really, really good job of that. And like it feels worth time, like the player's time, to go back and get par on holes that you went over par on, because you want to unlock all of the story. It's like very, very clear that this billionaire has just come to Earth because like they just want to take their fucking helmet off and like die on Earth. They're just like, I'm just going to die down here. I'm just going to suffocate and let myself die.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like the last great game of golf sort of vibe.
Exactly. So like it's a very difficult game. It's like the golf scenarios are like very, very hard. Like, did either of you play Desert Golf?
No.
Okay. Desert Golf was a game that was like hot, I want to say something like 5-6 years ago on iOS and Android, and it was a game that was about 30,000 unique holes of golf, and it was like brutally difficult. And so somebody's kind of like taken like the general structure of Desert Golf and been like, okay, what if we take Desert Golf, but now it's like story driven and a lot more like lavish in its appearance, and it's 35 holes, but there's a definite story with a beginning, middle, and end. I dig it. Kind of discovered this by accident because I was like reading about a game that Shuhai Labs is putting out next year called Cursed to Golf, which is a roguelike, a cute roguelike where you're like golfing through the world. And in some of the writing I saw about Cursed to Golf, people were like, this seems to be the second and like the current batch of like, some said like current batch of narrative golf games. And then some called it like the third in the narrative batch of golf games, and bothered to at least remember that like Golf Story exists. I dig it. Golf Club Wasteland is a good bad time.
It's a bad time for good reasons.
It's a bad time for good reasons, unlike Baldur the Guardian Owls, which is a bad time for bad reasons.
Why are there only 35 holes?
I don't know, Rocky. Like I haven't bothered to look into anything like if like say like getting an eagle on every hole or something will unlock additional holes or something like that.
Are there supposed to be more holes?
When you play golf, usually a course is 18 holes. So if you end up with 35 holes, you could have, say, 4... No, shit. You can have one complete course and then like a complete course that's missing a hole at the end. Or like sometimes courses only have 9 holes, but 35 is just such a weird number. It's really freaking me out.
It definitely is. And I definitely noticed that as well.
I wonder if that's by design to like be unsettling for people who know things about golf.
Maybe so.
Yeah. There are definitely things in the game which feel that way. There's moments in the game where like you encounter like water hazards that were caused by like rising water levels on the Earth. You're like, hooray, this water hazard is because we fucked up our planet. And it's just so gross. Yeah. If anything comes to light, or if I discover more about why the number of holes is what it is, I will definitely bring that back. Also started getting into Eastward, and this game is real neat. I think this might have been on at least... Rocky, was this on your radar?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it.
Okay. Eastward, and this wasn't completely clear to me until I sat down and started playing Eastward. But Eastward is, for all intents and purposes, somebody put Zelda in my Earthbound, somebody put Earthbound in my Zelda, and then somebody took all of it and made a s'more with that inside of like some post-apocalyptic Mad Max shit. So like it's post-apocalyptic Zelda Earthbound. And that is very much my jam.
I was gonna say, you say that, like, you started to say that like it was a bad thing.
No.
When we know very much it's not. That's your jam.
That is, It is very, very much my jam. Also, periodically, as you're like questing through the world, you'll come to these like public terminals where people are gathered around playing a very popular 8-bit turn-based RPG.
Totally not Earthbound?
What's that?
Totally not Earthbound?
No, they're playing Totally Not Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the game is very much like Zelda Earthbound, but like the game that everyone is like gathered around and playing on like the public terminals is like totally Final Fantasy. And so like I'm always a big fan of like a good game within a game. Shout outs to Galf. And this game's game within a game, Earthborn, which is Final Fantasy, is very good. One of the things I want to call attention to with Eastward is that like so often when video games decide to do pixel art, that they will like marry themselves to the idea of replicating like a particular era's aesthetic. That like they're like, okay, we're making something that looks like an NES game, or we're making a thing that looks like a Genesis game, or we're making a thing that looks like a SNES game, whatever. Like when somebody decides to do pixel art, so often they want to like trigger a particular console's nostalgia, as opposed to just saying like, we want to use pixels because that's the aesthetic that we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
And so something I particularly like about Eastward is that they are not marrying themselves to a particular historic console, which allows them to do stuff like use cool lighting effects. Like very early on in the game, you're like exploring a mine and killing slugs because all of the other miners won't go into the mine to kill the slugs. And like as you're wandering around the mine, there's some stuff which is going on with like the light which is cast by the slugs and the flickering lights along the passageways in the mine. And you're like, oh, this is some pretty advanced lighting effects that would not have been possible on like a SNES or a GBA or whatever. That they are definitely using very modern lighting effects. And throughout the game, there's a lot of that. There's like modern visual effects, modern visual trappings in this like very pixel art, pixel-ass game. The cooking is fun. This is the most fun I've had cooking in a video game since Breath of the Wild. I enjoy acquiring new recipes. I enjoy, there's like a slot machine mechanic to the discovery of new recipes. So like, in order to discover something, you like have to pull a slot machine and then you can, after you've discovered it, you can try to make it. And so that's fun. The writing is very, very warm and has that like just shifted off center feel that like Earthbound and Earthbound-like games have. But I've always preferred like action RPG style combat. And so having something that where dungeon layout and combat is accomplished like a top-down Zelda game is a lot more satisfying. And man, oh man, once you get out of the mines and you go up into the Forbidden Lands, they're like, okay, this is a giant sprawling open world with a huge ass map, and it's Zelda Earthbound, go buck wild. I was like, oh god, like why wasn't this game further up my excited about list? Holy shit, like I feel like this game completely took me by surprise. Like I was like vaguely aware of it. I was like, oh, Chucklefish is putting something out, I should probably look at it. And then I got it and I was like, this is great, this is absolutely great. And, you know, like everything about it is just spot on. Every one of the character designs is just so cool. I will check in on it hopefully soon. There was another game that I wanted to talk about this week, but it was just a fight to get a copy. And so I did not have time to play it because I didn't get my copy until like late yesterday evening.
What game?
Deathloop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We've got that one coming in the mail.
Did you also have a hard time getting hands on a copy?
No, pre-ordered it online and our copy just shipped the other day.
Okay.
That's all.
I wonder, what was it pre-ordered or did you all order it after it launched?
We pre-ordered it the day before it launched, so we're just not part of the initial shipment.
Okay.
All.
So I had pre-ordered Deathloop something like 2 months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the retailer from which I had pre-ordered it 2 months ago got to the day after release and said, surprise, we cannot accommodate your order.
Yeah.
We do not have inventory. All our inventory is spoken for.
Right.
If you want to try and get this game from us, click this button that says that you'll give us a ton of extra time, and we'll see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I tried Best Buy, and Best Buy said, sure, we'll give it a go. And then Best Buy sent me an email after a day and said, hey, looks like we've exhausted our entire inventory nationwide. Can you give us some more time to try and run you down a copy?
Mm-hmm.
Then I ordered from GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
And they delivered my copy like yesterday evening.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited to get into it. Like there was some stuff that came out this week that I'm looking forward to getting into, like Origami 2 and The Artful Escape. But everything I'm hearing about Deathloop has got me just so freaking excited.
It looks good. Like it, I'm tentatively excited. I'm gonna watch Alex is going to play. Because, that's just how it is in this house a lot of the times.
There was a way I heard it described that makes me very excited, which is get ready for all of the things that made Dishonored and Prey feel good, but this game also triggers the same places in your brain that Hades did.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Which, like, structurally makes sense, like, with, like, the repeated looping upon death. It's like, ooh, that sounds very satisfying. Telling me that something is going to feel like Dishonored and Hades, ooh, man. So hopefully, like, come next week I can talk about, like, The Artful Escape and Deathloop and Origami 2, and if I have time, I'll crack into Life is Strange: True Colors, because that is now out, and it's all out at once, which is, like, feels weird for a Life is Strange game. They're just like, here you go, here's the whole game.
Yeah, the only other one that they've really done that with is Captain Spirit.
Which I guess was just because it was like the single episode.
Yeah, it was like a transitional episode.
Right.
One.
It was like, here's a little bite-sized thing. But like the ones which have been like larger games have previously been released episodically. The thing that I'm curious about with this is, like, does that change the way the game feels like it is paced? Mm-hmm. Because, like, previous Life is Strange games have definitely leaned on the episodic structure to, like, define their big moments. And so, like, no longer having an episodic structure, I wonder if that changes the way the game is paced. Also, it's the dev team that did Life is Strange Before the Storm, which I'm very, very excited about, because, like, thus far, that is my...
You really like that game.
Yeah, I did. So, knowing that they're the ones handling development make me eager to jump back in. So, it may end up taking precedence over something like The Artful Escape. We'll see. The last game I want to talk about is Zookeeper World. I have fallen headlong into this game. Holy shit, I love it so much. So, you are...
a zookeeper.
Yes. And you make it a zoo. You run around it, you build exhibits, and then you get to populate the exhibits with various types of animals. Getting deeper into the game allows you to get more exotic or interesting animals. Like, I just recently had a visitor to the zoo request that I get some pandas. And I was like...
That was me! I want the pandas! Show them to me! I would like to see the babies.
And so I was like, fine, game. I'll get pandas.
Yeah, you did.
But at least I get to name them.
You do get to name them, and you name them Garbage and Mistake?
I did, think? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in the screenshot I sent to the chat, the Ian Mistake is behind, like, a shaft of bamboo in the exhibit. I have not yet upgraded my pandas. I think in the same picture you can see part of my monkey exhibit in the background there. And there's my unupgraded monkey Jerkface.
Why do you name all the animals mean stuff?
I don't name them all mean stuff, but the reason I named Jerkface is that when you get the animals, it tells you what the temperament of the animal is. Mm-hmm. They're like, here's the temperament of this animal. And so when I got Jerkface, it's a temperament, stubborn and mean. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. His temperament is stubborn and mean. His name is Jerkface. And Jerkface will frequently, like, turn away from the people as they come to the zoo. In the game, you can upgrade animals to make them more charming. For example, I have upgraded my lions. They are now circus lions. So they have, like, fancy top hats on and, like, clown makeup and, like, brightly colored tuxedos. You're like, hooray, there's circus lions. I'm like, I'm not sure what this means. Like, they're wearing fancy tuxedos and top hats and clown makeup. I guess that makes them circus lions. And once an animal is upgraded, it's more charming. And if animals are more charming, then people who are official supporters of your zoo will come more often, at which point they'll donate to the zoo more often. So it's key to make your animals as charming as possible, as quickly as possible. I've upgraded one of my monkeys to a boxing monkey, so now he's got headgear and boxing gloves. I've upgraded both of my fennec foxes, some of my penguins, and the meat and potatoes of this game, like the core driver of it, is some of the most elaborate and complex match 3 puzzling I've ever fucking done. There is stuff like boards which have conveyor belts, parts of the board where there are warp tiles where items will drop and then warp to other parts of the board, rotating parts of the board, varieties of wind conditions that need to be satisfied at the same time while you're balancing all of this weird bullshit. You might be presented a board where it's okay, you have to match 30 hippopotamus, but you also have to get 2 crowns to the bottom of the screen, which means you have to get the crowns past the conveyor belt. And you probably need to do it before you break all those crates, because once you break all those crates, the crown will then end up falling into warp tiles and just bring it back to the top of the screen. So, definitely very, very complicated match 3 puzzling. I'm on level 79 at this point, and periodically, once you have cleared enough levels, getting a score of excellent, the giant robotic version of the owner of the zoo will show up and terrorize the zoo, and you must defeat him.
Defeat him how?
It will be a 3-stage boss fight. The first 2 stages of the boss fight will change every time depending on what number encounter it is with the robot boss. Most recent time, it was getting a rabbit to escape from the robot boss. The 3rd stage of the robot boss fight is always the same, where it presents you with the match 3 puzzle space, but it'll put the robot boss onto the puzzle space, and he takes up a 4x4 section of the grid, and he bounces around the grid, and you can do damage to him by making matches immediately beside his head. And if he sits undamaged on a spot for more than 2 turns, if you go 2 turns without damaging him, then what he'll do is he'll get real angry, and he'll either turn things around him into skulls, or he'll put things around him into crates. And turning things into skulls means that even if you match the skulls, they don't damage the robot zoo owner. And if he puts them into crates, then you have to uncrate them before they can damage him. So, the incentive is to, constantly be matching in the proximity of the boss. So you have to, set up effective combos, so that way when he jumps across the board, you're set up to damage him wherever he goes. Yeah.
All right.
There is equipment that you can take into a level to try and optimize your experience on the board. I try to be very sparing with my equipment because of the currency that you use to buy the equipment is the same currency that you use to upgrade the animal's charm by like say turning a lion into a circus lion or etc. And I'm like, oh, so like sure I can get more like pineapples or stars or boxing gloves, or alternatively I can upgrade animals. Now there will be periodic opportunities to just acquire more of those items. I had a patron thank me for installing vending machines. Like, thank you for adding vending machines so I can have a snack while I'm at the zoo. And they gave me a star for that. So now, like, if I want to, I could take a star into a level. The level I just did was, like, fucking silly brutal. I can't remember the last time that I spent that much time on a single board in a match 3 game. The way the level was structured was there were crowns, which are things that you need to get to the bottom of a board, and they were sitting at the bottom of a conveyor belt that was going up. Every match you made would move the conveyor belt up a position, and eventually it would reach the top of the central board. And then you have to get the crowns to the bottom of that board. But here and there throughout the board on the way down are like little shelves. So if something comes to rest on the little shelf, the only way you can get it off the shelf is by making a match immediately beside it. So if there's no match beside it, you're screwed. So you need to like not just get the crowns to the bottom, but you have to control their path to the bottom by like anticipating what chain effects will be created by the matches that you're making. Like, yes, you're matching these things here, but will that cause another match, and will that then cause the crown to land on one of these little shelves? And like, I gotta say that like I've not been used to for like quite some time, like match 3 games, which are like require the discipline to be like, can you please anticipate 5 combinations deep what's going to happen as a result of your match? Because like I just kept on playing the level, and I would just end up with like fucking crowns sitting on these shelves, and just being like, Jesus Christ, like why am I so bad at video games? And I really had to like sit there for hours before I finally got this thing. But it felt so good to get it. Like this game, like Ooze's Charm, this series started on the Nintendo DS. There was a Zookeeper, that was where Zookeeper started, and Apple funded the development of this one. So like I did not mess with this on the DS, but like I am now definitely taken with this franchise. And now if somebody says to me like more Zookeeper, then I will be interested. I now know why so many people were like excited when this thing got announced. What y'all up to?
Nothing. 0 things. I don't play video games anymore. I don't watch anime anymore. I just scroll through TikTok. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke. I play video games, I promise. I signed up for Bitcraft Alpha. I don't know if I'll be chosen, but I signed up. We'll see how that goes. Bitcraft is Minecraft, but on one MMO server, and everybody wears little masks, and it visually looks kind of like Breath of the Wild. It's that kind of like art style. So we're gonna check that out, hopefully, assuming I get in. It looks neat. I don't know. I'm not like a huge Minecrafter. I do the thing where I like periodically I'll like open up Minecraft and I'll build one cabin and then I'll leave. You know? So like I can say I have mined a craft, but like I don't know anything about redstone or realistic storage or any of the like the ender stuff. I can't do any of that. The last time I played Minecraft seriously, the Nether had just come out. So like, you know, I just come in and I build myself a little house and then I leave. And I never come back. But Bitcraft is like, it's gonna be mostly community based, it sounds like. Like, you're gonna work together with other people in this MMO setting to build up a little town and stuff. So that, I don't know. It just seems neat. It seems like it's worth a shot, at least, you know? They show you making, like, little houses out of logs and, like, chopping down little trees and stuff. Everybody's wearing little capes. It's cute. It looks kind of like, what was it? Not Child of Light. The other one. You know what I'm talking about. You know, they're, like, all the people are, like, wearing masks, and they have, like, little wing capes. And, like, there are stars on the back of your cape that tell you what level you are. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
Sky?
Maybe?
Is it made by that game company? Like, that's not a joke. Like, I think that's actually the name of the company.
That is, in fact, the name of the company.
This requires me to have knowledge of people who make video games.
Fair enough.
No, I do not.
I think it was called Sky, right? Yes. Sky Children of the Light.
Yeah, Sky Children of the Light. There it is. They were cute. They look kind of like that. The people in Bitcraft.
For sure.
So we'll see. I signed up. We'll see if I get in the alpha. I probably won't. I don't typically get in alphas, but who knows? Maybe I'll be surprised. And I'll get in the alpha. The other, like, thing I'm excited about is, and I don't know if you guys talked about it this last week, because I didn't get to listen to the thing, but Unpacking got a release date. It's coming out November 2nd, and I did request off work specifically so I could play this game. I'm gonna play it on stream, and I'm gonna show Rocky how to organize a bedroom, dang it.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna show you. You did it wrong.
I mean, the game said it was fine, so I'm assuming it's fine.
Yeah, the game did say it was fine. He hit the diary in the wrong spot, Brian.
You just need to put it under something.
Diary goes under your pillow. iPod goes in the drawer. Oh god, anyway. Whatever, it's fine.
Apparently not.
Your figures facing the same direction. Anyway, you put your board games in the closed cabinet. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll show you how it's done.
Fair enough.
Good lord.
Speaking of showing how it's done, I'm almost done with Skyward Sword. Ayy. Girahim kicked my ass the first time. We're gonna go fight him again. To be fair, it wasn't my fault. By the time I got to Girahim, my shield was broken. So I had to do it with no fairies, no potions, and no shield.
Sure.
And I got to phase 3 of the fight, but then I beefed it at the end because I couldn't figure out how to craft an opening for myself without, like, repelling his sword strikes with my shield, and I had no shield, so I just had to die at that point. Guess I'll die. So I did, and then I went back and I got the Hylian shield, the proper, like, Shield of Hyrule. So, from doing a boss rush battle thing, that was very annoying, but I did it 2 tries, so yay.
Those are fun.
Yeah, no they're not. Agree to disagree. I got absolutely wrecked my first time because I was like, oh, I'll pick kind of a hard... It was like, you get to choose, like, if you want a boss from the end, the middle, or the beginning, and then for your first boss, and then afterwards, the game randomizes what boss it gives you. So there's no set order. You have to fight with whatever you had equipped while you were playing the first time through, and you don't get access to any of your potions or, like, ammo limits and that sort of thing. So, it's a bit more of a fight than I wanted it to be. But I did it. I got wrecked the first time because it gave me, like, I picked a boss that I was like, oh, this isn't, like, too hard. Like, this is one that I struggled with, but it's not a hard boss. And then it just gave me, like, 3 endgame bosses right afterwards, and I got my shit kicked in. And then the second time I did it, I picked a mid-range boss, and then it gave me 4 easy bosses in a row. Which was very nice for me. Brian's playing so many games. He's still not playing Skyward Sword.
Brian's busy. He's got other things on his plate.
Watch the VODs at least.
I am apparently a disappointment.
I want to talk to you about Skyward Sword. I can't talk to you about Skyward Sword if you don't play it. I did have a very good conversation online about The Legend of Zelda. Someone asked me a very good question, which made me very excited. Somebody asked me online for my opinions on the Zonai people from Breath of the Wild and their relation to what happens in Skyward Sword. And I was like, Normally, when people ask me questions about The Legend of Zelda, they're like, I don't want to say easy questions. They're like mid-range. They're like, they're not, it's not a reach, but they were like, what do you think about the Zonai? And I was like, oh, someone's asking me about something that no one else cares about, finally. So it was good. It was a good time. I enjoyed it a bit. Quite a bit, actually. But yeah, we're going to finish Skyward Sword this week. And we're going to play something else. I don't know what. I picked up the Great Ace Attorney game.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, when we went in to go pick up Deathloop, and they were like, oh, actually, those are all being mailed out. And we were like, oh, okay. And then we left. Because we pre-ordered so late. It's fine. So I picked up that pre-owned. I'm going to check that out, I think. I don't know if I'm going to do it next. We'll find out. Vote now on your phones. And then other than that, I've been sort of playing catch-up in Genshin. I still haven't continued the story since we got into Inazuma, and I know I need to do that, because the whole Archon quest is out now. But I did finally get Ball, and it only took me an additional 50 or 60 wishes.
Jesus.
After I got blocked by D-Luke for Kazuha. It's fine. I still have 8,000 Primo Gems left without having spent any money, so obviously I'm fine, but I got her! I also have a C3 Sucrose, and I did get Sarah, so Alex has finally reached a level where he's, like, interested in doing domains. Mostly because he wants Jean to be very, very good. So I'm looking up very, very good Jean builds, and we're just, like, grinding the domains for him.
Hopefully Alex will become the best Jeanist.
Hopefully that would be ideal. Best Jeanist has great hair, and Alex misses his hair. For people who don't know, Alex had cancer, and then the hair on his head never grew back.
Yeah,
so
rip.
It's funny. It's funny to me. He's handsome, though, so it's fine. But Genshin Impact also recently added fishing. You can now fish. You can fish in select areas of the map in Liyue and in Mondstadt. And, like, you can fish in all... If you can swim in a body of water, there is a location along its bank where you can fish, basically. Each little, like, pool has different fish in it that require different bait to catch. You craft bait. Hey, for people who are dumb like me, the bait crafts in stacks of 10. Stacks of 10. Crafted 1,000 bait.
That is convenient.
On accident. I crafted 1,000 bait on accident and then went, why is my inventory full? I'm so dumb. But there's, like, if you, like, do the fishing quests, which are going to be over by the time this podcast is out, but that's okay. I'm sure there's still, like, additional fishing quests, but, like, the fishing event is going to be over. There'll be a new fishing event, I think, coming up soon. But, if you do the fishing event, you get, like, a pole arm that is a fish. And in the next event, the next, like, story or, like, story side event that, like, is starring Keqing and Zhongling, you get a sword, a great sword that's a fish.
Nice.
A great, you can just hang on to the fish and smack people with it. I love it, it's so dumb. Apparently the rumor is that there's an entire fish weapon set. So fish polearm, fish catalyst, fish bow, fish sword, fish great sword. And the one that's coming in the next event is a great sword. So, it'll be fun. They also added, like, in addition to, like, the Harvest Moon farming stuff that they added at the very beginning of the 2.0 system, they have now also introduced fish breeding. You can get a fancy pond for your teapot now, and you can put ornamental fish in the fancy teapot. In the fancy pond in your teapot. And so people are, of course, making very fancy layouts in their fancy teapots for their fancy fish pond, which are all very fun to watch. I love the way that people are, like, figuring out how to get stuff to clip into other stuff so that they can make, like, tighter designs. Now, if only MiHoYo would increase the load, we could have on each plane of our teapot so that we could have lots and lots of very crowded designs. Someone recreated the Spirited Away bathhouse in their teapot.
That's pretty cool.
It's wild. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, really. I watched Alex play. Alex is playing Dark Souls again. He beat New Game Plus 7. I think that's it. He saw somebody online beat, like, New Game Plus 6, and then they were like, I don't think I could do New Game Plus 7, and Alex did it in, like, 2 hours, so... It's not that hard.
Jesus
Alex
fucking
really
Christ.
likes Dark Souls.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
And he also beat Pokemon... He finally beat Pokemon Sword. It only took him, like, what, 3 years? I don't know.
Damn. It turns out Pokemon Sword may be the Dark Souls of Pokemon games.
Right? Honestly. The endgame stuff he really enjoyed. I'm playing Pokemon Go again, which is fun for me. And me alone, I'm sure. There's an Oshawott event today, if anyone cares. No one cares. I just want a Furfrou, okay? I heard that they put Furfrou in, and I want a Furfrou. Furfrou's a good dog, okay? But yeah, that's it. That's what I've been doing. I'll do more things later, I promise. No, I don't. I lied. I don't promise anymore.
Fair enough. We're almost done with Tales of Symphonia on stream. Got to the latest big lore dump, and they had that sequence where they take all your party members because they all have like dramatic finishes that may actually be their deaths. And it turns out they've all been saved by like someone, and they show up at where you fight against who will later be the final boss. But I fucked up. I really did. So for everyone involved, I'm sorry.
What'd you do?
So the thing is, you know how Zelos and Kratos both have the same kits, right? And they use the same equipment? Mm-hmm. It's because at the end of the game, you actually have a choice as to who you can take with you for like last bit of the game. And if you do nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Where there's a section where you basically are stuck in Flanwar, like the ice town, people will come to your door and talk to you. And you talk to anyone that shows up. Colette shows up first, then Genis, then Sheena. And depending on like your conversations with other characters, more will show up. I think Rain can show up, and I think Regal can too. And you have like a heart-to-heart before you have to go to the big fight.
Right.
If you get any of those people, Zelos is the character that sticks with your party for the rest of the game. But if you spend the first section of the game really getting to know Kratos and doing enough of his interactions, Kratos will actually show up at that door, and then you can have that conversation with him. And so when everyone gets like separated, looks like they're all in these hopeless traps, the person that saves them is either Zelos or Kratos. And the other is branded, you know, like a traitor to like the party and everything that you all believed in. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't do enough of the Kratos stuff in the first act or whatever, so Zelos is in my party for the rest of the game. Yeah, so whatever, I guess. GG's.
No, I can't believe you've done this to us, Rocky.
It was dumb. Like, and I skipped like the conversations like I meant to, but I got to Sheena, and like, it didn't give me a choice at that point. It just started the cutscene. It's on the VOD, you guys can see it. And it's because I didn't do enough of the Kratos stuff in the first act of the game. So the person that saved the entire party was Zelos, who apparently was doing a double agent thing between the Pope and like Crucius and like the party. Mm-hmm. And he's the one that produces a way for the party to get or allow Lloyd to use the Eternal Sword, which will be later or whatever. But the other way around is that Zelos is just like, he doesn't show up at the end. Kratos is the one that saves everyone, and he betrays Crucius. And I always like that narrative better, even though the Zelos one is technically canon. Because it's like Kratos like finally has an opportunity to like undo his part of like ruining the world 4,000 years ago. And the catalyst for that is still Lloyd, because like he finds out that his son is still alive and that there's a world worth protecting, and like that seems cool. I really like that narrative, but we're not going to do it. So my bad.
But we're going the canon route.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. You could just say that you're going the canon, and it's too late now because it's on the podcast, and so everyone already knows. But you could have said that you were doing the canon route specifically because you were streaming the game. You could have done that.
I could have, yeah. But it's not the truth.
But instead you've exposed yourself.
Yeah. There is one thing that looking back on this game now, I feel like handles a trope a little less. It doesn't execute it as well as I hoped it had in my memories or whatever. Because, like, Mythos, who's like, well, when you play the game, you find out that you're actually, like, retracing the steps of Mythos' journey, right? Like, he's gone through Tethayala and Silverant. They're both in conflict. And at some point, Mythos needed to make pacts with the various summon spirits, and he did. And you're kind of undoing his pact so they can all make pact with Sheena, and you're trying to reconcile the differences between these two opposing nations. Mythos, at the end of it all, like when he saved both of the nations or whatever, his sister dies, Martel. And he decides to bend the entire world to, like, fight amongst itself until he's able to find a way to save his sister. And then when Lloyd shows up, Lloyd says, this world is twisted and it's your fault. How could you do this to everyone? And it's like, who gives a shit about this world? And more importantly, you're doing the exact same thing I am. Like, in addition to, like, Lloyd's party making connections with all the summon spirits and trying to save these two nations, he's also forsaken them in some amount to try to save Colette. And, like, they are in a similar spot. But, like, you know, because of the way that the story goes, and honestly because the way that we're experiencing the story is as, like, an RPG video game, I don't think there's a real way for them to actually, like, really hammer that point home that you're actually the same. And, like, there's enough circumstances around where, like, Lloyd doesn't have to make that difficult choice. Which just makes, you know, Mythos look like a little shittier, even though he's a pretty good character. But I don't know. Like, it's not Spec Ops The Line, and, like, a part of me wishes that this kind of played out like Spec Ops The Line.
Okay.
Rocky, first of all, amazing pull. Second, now I want to go play Spec Ops The Line again. Jesus.
It was a really good video game.
Yeah, it's a really good video game. Like, this kind of, like, makes me want to, like, ask broader questions about games that have, like, such divergent resolutions where, like, there can be such, like, a massive important fork in the road. And like, this is part of a larger discussion I saw online this week, which is, do choices in video games matter? Which I think is kind of like a reductive way to talk about it, but, like, what I think was at the root of their conversation is that, like, in games where there is such an idea as, like, a canon ending, or, like, when a major choice happens in a game, which one is the one that is real? Like, there is a canon resolution to Life is Strange for whether or not the town was destroyed. There's a canon ending for Hitman 3 as to, like, whether or not, you know, 47 kills the Constant or, like, injects himself with the serum to forget his own past. In situations like that, where there is something that, like, the developers interpret to be the right choice or the true choice, should those choices be subtracted from a game and be delivered via, like, cut scenes or narrative, and leave choices to the player, which the players truly are allowed to impact in the scope of the world? Like, to me, it feels weird when I'm told that, like, by a video game, well, yeah, you chose to do that, but, like, in the larger scale of the video game, we don't acknowledge your choice.
I mean, sure, but I don't know. I feel like that's more like a development limitation than anything else. And
yeah,
otherwise, like, they can't get started on the next game. Like, the only reasons the Zelos saving the party is considered canon is because in the sequel game, which is, you know, not generally liked by the Tales fandom in general, Kratos isn't there. And so he canonically dies because he's just not in the sequel, and Zelos is around. And so both of those things can't be true. Right. So unless, like, Zelos is the one that saves you. Those are choices that, like, the devs made when they made the sequel. And, you know, I still feel like they made them for business choices, but that's a different statement. But I feel like choices are best used in, like, a singular game experience. And there are some examples where it's done to incredible success, like the jump from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2. But, like, you know, the same way that it went from Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 3, it does complicate things in a way that expectations can rise a bit higher than what's reasonably deliverable. But I don't know. I think choices do matter, but as far as like sequels go with like story input, I can't put that much stock in them. I try to do what I want, I guess, and I try to make my peace with that.
Sure. Yeah. Like, I'm also thinking about like, even within the context of like a single game, like if you played Morrowind way back in the day, it was possible. It was difficult, but it was possible to like make your way to the capital of Morrowind and then like get your way into the chambers of the living ruler god Vivek, kill Vivek, at which point you get like a message on screen that basically reads like, "Congratulations, dipshit, the world can no longer be saved." And like you become a pariah because like now there's no way to save the world. And it reflects in the way that people talk to you. And also like throughout Morrowind, like there are entire quest chains that are either available to you based on like previous choices, like, oh, okay, you did this for that person, well, now this quest chain is not available to you. Or like, oh, you're a member of this guild, then this quest chain is available to you. And I think about that in contrast to Skyrim, where like the effects of all of your decisions feel like incredibly superficial.
Sure.
You know, like it just like, in theory within Skyrim, there are a million choices, but none of them feel meaningful.
I'm not sure I'd go that far, but...
Okay, can you think of an example of one that did? Because I'm struggling to.
No. Like, I agree with your point, like, on its surface, that, like, your choices don't really change, like, the overworld, and, like, and that's because they remove the consequences from those choices. I completely agree with that. But I feel like the trade-off there is that, like, you don't accidentally, like, cut yourself out of content because you made a choice. Like, instead of, like, the choices themselves being, like, meaningless, I feel like you can make the choices without paying anything. So, like, the choices are just, like, your own, which, you know, does undercut, like, its meaning and, like, the effect on the world, which is, you know, again, not something I'm arguing against. But I feel like the choice is just more like your own, like, you just said a thing, and, like, the game's just not going to hit you for it.
Okay. No, I get that. Like, it kind of, like, makes it the choice then that, like if you're playing Morrowind, then you're kind of like through your choices building your own tastings menu.
Right.
You know, like everything that you're doing is like further channeling into like what I would call like a focused role playing experience. Like when you play Morrowind, you are role playing, like you are building a character from the ground up.
Right.
And like the adventure you have is going to be based on like the consequences of your decision. The game actively encourages role play.
Right.
And then Skyrim says, "Friend, this is the Golden Corral. Would you like to get the pizza and the soft serve ice cream?" And the choice that you have as a player is to decide whether or not you want to have pizza and soft serve ice cream.
Right.
And I guess I would rather eat less and have it be better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Quality over quantity,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Man, now I'm just thinking about Spec Ops The Line again. Jesus.
I thought you were going to say, no, I'm just thinking about pizza.
That's fair, too. But man, like, Spec Ops is so good. There's things that Spec Ops says about the way video game narrative works, which is just still feels potent, like, 10 years later? Like, man, what a video game.
Yeah.
Sure. I have not played Spec Ops. I don't do gun games.
It's a very different kind of gun game. I can say that much.
Yeah.
That's valid. Maybe I'll get Alex to play it so I can stare at it.
Honestly, maybe best use case. I would like to watch Alex play Spec Ops The Line while I stare at it. That sounds dope.
Oh, Jesus. Like, Rocky, I'm just thinking about, like, some of those loading screens, like, later in the game. Oh, God.
It's really fun watching Alex play video games. He's good at them.
How do you think Alex would react if a video game, just say, I don't know, I mean, I'm not asking this not for any particular reason.
There you go.
If a video game just had him do a war crime and then gave him a loading screen that says, "Are you proud of what you've done?"
Ah! What? What? Is that a thing that happened?
Maybe. Who knows? It's only a 10-year-old video game. It's not like anyone could possibly know for sure.
I mean, I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
war games that have you commit war crimes should ask you afterwards if you're proud of yourself.
Like, that should be... We should enshrine that in law. Like, that's just a thing that all video games would make
Yeah,
you do.
if your game violates any of the Geneva Conventions, in the immediate after image, you have to have a loading screen that just goes, "Are you proud of yourself?" And then cite the exact instance of the Geneva Convention you have violated.
I just Spec Ops. Like, Jesus Christ, how is that game so good? Just
They knew what they were doing.
It feels like there's stuff that it's done with the way it works around video games very, very rarely do unreliable narrators well. I have talked recently on this video game podcast about video games which have as their central conceits unreliable narrators, and I actively disliked both of them. Like the Magnificent Truffle Pigs sucked ass. 12 Minutes sucked ass. Spec Ops: The Line, that's how you do an unreliable narrator. Jesus. Oh.
You guys want to do news?
Yeah.
No! Hate news.
Oh, I have a call to action.
You have a call to action.
Go buy some Pokemon Oreos.
Man, fuck
The
you,
strike
Brian.
is
Are you
over.
kidding me? You're gonna ask our listeners to become scabs on purpose?
No, Rocky, the strike's over.
Oh, is it really?
Strike's over.
I didn't know that. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. The strike just ended. I saw someone posted a bunch of photos of the actual contract. So it sounds all right. Definitely there's some improvement, but also there's room for more improvement. Stuff that go on strike again. We'll do the thing again.
Well, that was news to me. Sorry, Brian.
Word. Rocky, I'm not going to cross a picket line for fucking Pokemon Oreos. I'm not that guy.
Well, yeah, that's why I got mad about
I
it.
have a very important, excellent transitional question for you, Brian.
Yes.
Will you commit a labor violation to hide a labor violation?
Tegan, I won't. But then again, I'm also not Activision Blizzard. Oh. God damn. That's fair.
They continue to surprise me in ways that make me giggle.
Every
Single time I think, this is it. We've hit the bottom. It just goes lower. The floor gives out beneath me.
What?
What'd they do, Brian?
All right. So these absolute fucking garbage people. Activision Blizzard employees have filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board, alleging that Activision Blizzard has intimidated, surveilled, and interrogated workers to discourage discussion of labor conditions and organizing activity. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that great? Jesus fuck. So Activision Blizzard employees are actively organizing under the name A Better ABK, referring to Activision Blizzard King. And for those of you who forget, one of the things that is owned by Activision Blizzard is also King Games, because Activision Blizzard is also responsible for fucking Candy Crush. So it's A Better ABK. And they've been doing some shit. The complaint is as follows. Threatened and told employees they cannot talk about wages, hours, and working conditions, or investigations about them. The investigation that led to the lawsuit in July. They've maintained an overly broad and vague social media policy. They've enforced the social media policy against employees who are engaged in what's called protected concerted activity, threatened and disciplined employees on account of protected concerted activity, engaged in surveillance of employees engaged in protected concerted activity, and engaged in interrogation of employees about protected concerted activity. So, Tegan, are you curious as to what protected concerted activity is?
I am.
No problem. I'm here to define that
Please
for you.
enlighten me, because I am not a labor board.
Okay. Protected concerted activity is employees discussing ways to improve their workplace or organizing into labor groups that includes collective bargaining groups. So basically, they're union busting. They're like, hey, y'all talking about forming a union. Hey, y'all talking about collective bargaining. Hey, y'all talking about labor conditions. Like the primary purpose of the definition is organizing activity.
Talking about organizing a picnic?
No. So apparently Activision Blizzard has been like actively looking for employees using the hashtag #AbetterABK, bringing them in for, just talking tos. And none of that is remotely legal. So #AbetterABK has not announced intentions to unionize. So we have a quote here. From CWA National Director Tom Smith. We are inspired by the bravery of ABK workers, and we will stand shoulder to shoulder with workers fighting harassment, assault, and discrimination. Management could have responded with humility and a willingness to take necessary steps to address the horrid conditions some ABK workers have faced. Instead, Activision Blizzard's response to righteous worker activity was surveillance, intimidation, and hiring notorious union busters. The National Labor Relations Board, under the Biden administration, has made it clear that it will hold companies accountable whenever they break the law, and we have filed these charges to ensure that the actions of management will not go unanswered. I think, I don't know, like, I know it's only September, friends, and I know that we reserve a show for the end of the year where we kind of talk about, like, biggest shit shows of the year. We talk about, like...
I think the biggest shit show is literally just going to be Amazon. Or not Amazon, what am I talking about? Activision Blizzard. I
would just like to point out to everybody that there are people in this world that
who speak for Amazon and people who don't, and Brian is one of the ones who does not. None speaking for Amazon, only speaking for himself. Thank you very much. Sorry, Bezos Daddy. Please don't be mad at me.
Oh,
God. Please don't shut my package at my door.
Jeff Bezos is not Tegan's father.
Imagine if Jeff Bezos was my father, my biological father. That would be wild.
That's a young adult novel, right?
I think the young adult novel. Okay, do you remember back in the fan fiction days where like the biggest fan fiction trope in the One Direction fandom was your mother is selling you to One Direction?
What?
I actually do remember.
What?
God damn it, man.
God.
There was an entire subset of fan fiction from the One Direction fandom specifically that was, I can't afford my bills, so we are selling you to One Direction.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was definitely a time.
Oh my god!
So funny. Every single one. All of those, all those girls, they were like 12, 13, 14, you know, and it was like their version of a Cinderella story. You know,
Yep.
we have to sell you to go work for One Direction so that we can get money for our house or something.
Oh God, sold to 1D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It was a whole thing. It's I think the equivalent now would be like if you got sold, I think the group you would get sold to is probably BTS. At this point.
I'm sorry. I'm reeling as I'm sitting here looking at one of these. In this particular one, the name of the main character is fucking Bella, because of course it is.
Yep.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, that's right. That tracks.
We know who they know who they're talking to. They know who they are.
Oh, here's one with a different title. This one's One Direction Bought Me! Exclamation point.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Brian, you had to be there, man.
Brian, I really do mean it when I tell you fan fiction is our highest form of art.
My name is Haley. I have long brown curly hair, chocolate, brown eyes, pink lips. I am 17. I am turning 18 in February on the 5th. It is June 7th right now, and I am getting out of school. It has been another year. I'm single. I went home and I went upstairs. 1 month ago, my father died from a heart attack, and my mom now needs lots more money. What the fucking Christ? Oh, 1 month ago, my father died. My mother needs lots more money.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're 13 and you don't know like a ton about like writing, like honestly, that's an okay way to start one, you know?
She
Not the
put
worst
me
thing that's
on.
ever happened.
She put me on a selling site, and I don't know what's going to happen to me.
Yep.
I heard my mom call to me from downstairs. I fucking hate her. She's messing up my life. Haley! I walked to the top of the stairs and groaned. Ugh, yes, Mom? Pack up, you're sold! Fuck!
I don't know what you thought was going to happen here.
It's okay if it's a celebrity. I will go. Oh my god! It's I don't mind being sold into slavery if it's a.
Yeah.
I'm
And then
sorry.
they like treat you like a pet or something. Usually, sometimes you're a maid. But all of the boys are very nice.
Yeah, of course they are.
OMG,
And then you
this
fall in
kid.
love with one, and they get married to you. Sometimes they even give you a kiss, and you do a sex that is poorly done. But it is okay, because I am 18 at the point that the sex happens.
Well, in this particular story, they better wait till February because it is June 7th and Haley's not 18
Oh yeah,
yet.
Brian, that's a major
Well,
plot
yeah.
point.
Oh god. And these are the fucking people that want to dictate the future of art?
I mean, they kind of have, if we're being honest, Brian. Like, I don't know if you remember, but Twilight is a multi-million-dollar franchise now.
I mean, I'm just thinking about the way fucking Boyfriend Dungeon got rolled like a month ago. You know, now I fucking realize the people that rolled Boyfriend Dungeon are these people, and I hate them.
I don't think that's
I
true.
hate them.
Yay!
Like, maybe not these people, but maybe people that hang out in, like, AO3 and whatever.
Oh, God.
Okay, I will say, not all the people who hang out in AO3 are these. A lot of times, these particular styles of fanfiction are baby writer's first fanfiction.
Right.
And that's fine. This is absolutely fine for baby writer's first fanfiction. The other thing that I remember, which was a little bit before the time of the One Direction fanfiction, like this particular trope, was in fanfiction, and back in the fanfiction.net times, where writers would want to get out of fandom, and instead of just saying, like, I don't like that fandom anymore, they would fake their own deaths and create a new username.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
There was, like, a whole slew of, like, fanfiction fake suicides where like authors would be like, I'm going away forever, and they'd be like, and then someone would like, the author would come back in and be like, this is her best friend, and she was just found dead this morning, and like this whole,
oh god, oh god,
whole thing. God.
I followed them outside, and they had a very cool van. It had One Direction on it. It had 3 rows of seats and a big trunk. Does
she have to sit in the trunk, or does she get to sit in one of the One Direction members' laps?
I put my luggage in the trunk, and got in. I sat. Oh, she's not on the lap. I sat next to Niall.
Oh, okay.
Harry and Zane sat behind me, and in front of me was Liam and Lewis. Lewis started the car and drove out of the parking lot. What's your name? Niall asked. Okay, first of all, I have a question.
This girl, you don't know her name.
Thank you, Ticket. That was my question. Like, this band is engaged in slavery, and they're just like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna do our fucking.
There's literally, this is a whole subgenre of One Direction fanfiction specifically. Where, like, the One Direction band, I guess, participates in slavery.
where One Direction is treating slavery like a gotcha pull. Like,
yeah. It's wild.
What's your name? Niall asked.
Good. Let me say, fanfiction is so good. I love fanfiction.
Haley, I replied. Cute name, he says. How old are you? Zane asked. 17, turning 18 in February, I reply. Why are you so cute? Harry asks me. I don't know, I reply, blushing. We don't have an extra bed at the house.
Oh no, she's gonna have to share.
So you'll have to sleep with one of us. Not like sleep, but you know what I mean.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yep. Oh my god.
Then in all caps, OMG, I get to sleep with One Direction. Like,
yeah. Welcome to Baby's First Fanfiction. It's okay. If this was your fanfiction, I hope you're doing well. I hope you still find joy in writing. And I hope you understand that while you may feel now that this is very cringe, and this is like the worst thing that could ever happen, like every writer starts off somewhere, and if this is where you started off, the fact that you were brave enough to share it with the world is very good. And I wish you many happy writing endeavors. I wish every One Direction, my parents sold me to them fanfiction writer a very happy continue writing. I love you and I hope you're thriving.
Yes, I agree with the things that Tegan said. I'm also going to hope that maybe you're not writing about people being sold into slavery anymore, that like maybe you worked out that kink. Like,
if you are still writing about it, I hope you have done a lot of research and you're writing about it like in a very like slave busting way, you know?
Oh God,
not in a like glorification way.
I'm really okay. So, listeners of Impossible Coin, I would love for you to answer a question for me. Like, something that I have talked about with Rocky and Tegan, and that we will obviously have to revisit very soon behind the scenes, is this year I want to do Game of the Year during December, because that's what everybody is actually looking for, Game of the Year stuff. So here's the thing that I would like to do for the holidays. In addition to maybe recording like a special holiday watch along for our Patreons, how would y'all feel about? Okay, I'm almost certain something exists, and I just have to make sure it exists before. So here, One Direction. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's a whole subgenre of retellings of A Christmas Carol starring One Direction.
Yeah, of course there is.
How would everybody like if what Impossible Coin brought to you for Christmas is a very special One Direction Christmas read to you by Impossible Coin? Vote now on your votes.
I'll do it. I'll do it for free.
I'm so bowled over on my fucking. I'm sorry. The images presented in this thing and just like the first page are blowing my fucking mind. The idea of this like One Direction van, like they have a van. The van has a trunk. Why does the van have a fucking trunk? Like you would put my luggage in the trunk. Like I love it. And just like for some reason it says One Direction on the side of the van. Like here's One Direction out here doing slavery, pulling up in their One Direction branded van. My father died a month ago. I can't love this enough. Like this is the most ridiculous bullshit, and I love everything about it. Jesus Christ, this broke me in a good way. God, 3 cheers for this.
Anyway, Activision Blizzard sucks. Oh, good times.
Yep.
Good times. I love fanfiction. So good. Anyway, speaking of the new... Oh, God, I hate Genshin fans. Anyway, so MiHoYo has started to actively fight against Genshin leakers. Honey Hunter, which was has a very, very popular Genshin Impact wiki on it with like everyone's like drop rates for stuff and where to find things and like that kind of stuff. They also have a brand new they had a section, or they have a section that's just leaks for upcoming Genshin Impact content. They were asked to take down the Genshin Impact portion of the website because with the leak section specifically, it was determined that they were infringing on MiHoYo's intellectual property. And MiHoYo's been like trying to take down, they've more or less like, this is sort of a new like, I don't want to say it's a new development, because obviously like game companies don't like leaks, but they haven't been quite this active in trying to go after leakers. They are currently starting a lawsuit against Bilibili, and did shut down some other leakers on like Twitter and Reddit, specifically ABC64 for Real and Sakuna. So Honey Hunter shut down the website and then said, just kidding, we're coming back. See you soon. And what they did was they moved the website to Amsterdam. Because the Netherlands hasn't been concerned with DMCA takedowns in the past. And they also made a change in their disclaimer section, which said that they're not going to be mentioning MiHoYo or Genshin Impact by name, so you have to search very specifically now to get to the leak information. But it doesn't matter, because there's an entire subreddit called Genshin Impact Leaks, which has already spilled a bunch of the details from 2.2, even though we haven't had the 2.2 announcement yet. And I'm sure in like another, 2 weeks, they're gonna know everything about 2.3, so... Yay! But MiHoYo's actually trying now, so maybe watch out a little bit.
Yeah, be safe.
Because if you will remember, even though it's called MiHoYo Otaku Save the World, MiHoYo is a Chinese gaming company. So, I am, of course, like, I feel like initial, like, spoilers. I know there's an expiration date for spoilers, right? Like, at this point, I don't think you have to tag, like, your spoilers for, like, The Sixth Sense or whatever. But I'd say, like, probably, like, a month or two is fair for spoiler-related stuff. And so, like, I don't like leaks. Because then you get into situations where, like, if they change the content of the game, people get mad because they're like, what? But the leak said this. And it's like, well, yeah, but the leak also wasn't part of the finalized game data, so I don't know what you expected. You know? I don't know. I'm fine with them, like, trying to take down these sites. I think that's fine. Or at least take down, like, the leak portions.
I don't know, like, I mean, I'll always be torn on this stuff. Like, I've never felt real great about, like, preserving somebody's, like, marketing propulsion. But
when you're leaking non-finalized game data, I think you're inadvertently setting up expectations in the fan base that the game may be unable to match. And I don't think that's fair to the people working on the game. If the game data has been finalized and you are leaking that information, I think that's a different situation.
Okay. So I think I can come along with...
Like, if you're leaking the marketing, that's one thing. But if you're leaking non-finalized data, that's another thing.
Okay, I think I might be able to come along with you on this journey. So
Okay.
let me offer you an example.
Okay.
Ubisoft obviously has a new Mario plus Rabbids game in development. And before the announcement of the game, the existence of the game was leaked. Now, obviously, the game is still in development, but like Nintendo and Ubisoft have committed to, we are making another Mario plus Rabbids game, and like the way that the leak worked was, what was getting leaked was, there is another Mario plus Rabbids game. Like, there wasn't anything about like gameplay specifics.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey, this is happening.
Right. Okay. That I don't think that's a bad thing.
Right.
I don't think that's something you would go after. The thing that is being leaked from Genshin specifically are character builds, types of attacks, ascension materials, stuff that will and has already changed before the character is finalized. That's where I think it gets tricky. Or I think, like, the leak shouldn't happen. You know? Like, saying, hey, this character is coming to the game and they will be playable eventually. You know, that's not the same. But, like, hey, there's going to be a new dungeon in this game. Here's exactly how the dungeon will work. And then the dungeon comes out and it doesn't work like that, because that was just like an initial idea for the dungeon or whatever, or they added different elements based on player feedback from the last time they ran a dungeon similar to this, you know?
So I guess like a good way to put it would be like, articulate what you know for sure. Like, if you are certain, like, say there's going to be a character in the game and you have like character assets, like, okay, here's a character in the game. We have no idea if they will ever be playable, but we know that they're going to be in the game. Like,
right,
that's
exactly.
You know, like that. So, like, say what you know. Don't color it in with speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that I'm more on board with that, because that doesn't like the other way could materially impact development.
Right, exactly. And like
Right.
this way, like, the stuff is still being, like, saying just like, hey, this exists. All right. Saying like, hey, this exists and this is how it works. Mm-mm. You know? Nah. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're making life harder for the developers. You know? because then they, like, in addition to, like, they see all that shit online and they're like, well, like, we can't change this because XYZ other thing, you know? Or, like, we are still, like, working on trying to make this better, and, like, all of this negative feedback doesn't actually help us.
And so I have more. I have more news. It's a bummer, but it's not the usual reason why things are a bummer when I talk about them, which is being disappointed in like the avarice and unchecked greed and evil of mankind.
Oh, okay.
This is because legit pioneer and decent dude Clive Sinclair passed away. So Clive Sinclair, if you are young enough to not be familiar with his name immediately, is the person who developed the ZX line of computers. And those, the importance of the ZX line can't really be overstated. So, you know, to give you like context, the Commodore PET cost $795, which adjusted for inflation is about $4,000, right? Not really what you would call like fucking around money. Like people aren't, you know, like people are not casually getting into home computing with a Commodore PET. It's just not something which is within reach. Period. And Sinclair launched the ZX80 at $79.95. So that was $182 pre-built. So it was Clive Sinclair who really made home computing something that was going to be within reach of like a great many more people. He took it out of the hands of like the rich and opened it up to like the middle class. And then with the ZX81, he managed to get the price even lower to $49.95. And these computers aren't really known in the U.S. under these names, like the ZX80, ZX81, ZX Spectrum. They were released in the U.S. by the Timex Corporation, so they were known as like Timex personal computers, the people who make the watches. But like it is absolutely wild, like just how deep the game library was and the application library was for ZX computers. And the main reason for that is essentially every one of these things was an unlocked development kit, and like computer clubs cropped up all across Europe for them under the name, you know, ZX Spectrum, and in the US under the name of like Timex Computing, and people were developing. And so unlike your other computers that were available, like your Commodores and such, which were like closed systems, the way people were writing on these were like in BASIC. So they were like open systems. And there was just an absolutely extraordinary amount of development that happened. And the number of companies that started working on the ZX Spectrum systems is like pretty significant. DMA designs that would go on to become Rockstar North. So like there would be no Grand Theft Auto without the ZX Spectrum. There would be no Lemmings without ZX Spectrum. Rare, the people who have done like untold amounts of like cool shit like Banjo and Kazooie and Killer Instinct and Donkey Kong Country and Battletoads. Rare started out on the ZX computers. Ocean Software started out, and Spectrum Games started out, and Psygnosis and Codemasters. All of these developers were originally developing for this line of computers. And like since Clive Sinclair has passed, like there have been so many people who have like come forward to talk about like how like influential and forward-looking he was, and that there's been like a great deal of people who have spent like the last 20 plus years like trying to dunk on Clive Sinclair, because Clive Sinclair was like passionate about the idea of the all-electric vehicle like 30 years ago, and he's like, we need to switch to all electric vehicles because of the environmental impact of fossil fuels. And he tried to bring an electric vehicle to market, and it didn't work. And so like there were certainly some outlets that like in their obituaries of Clive Sinclair chose to run pictures of him in like his crappy electric vehicle that didn't really work, like lol, Clive Sinclair, kind of like glossing over the fact that like he single-handedly fundamentally changed the way people access personal computing. Without Clive Sinclair, there wouldn't have been adequate market demand for DOS. So like IBM wouldn't even been like looking for Microsoft to like sell them an operating system unless there was adequate demand, and demand would not have existed without Sinclair. And when we talk about like gaming platforms that impacted multitudes of people, like it's really difficult to overstate like the number of people whose like first gaming platform was a ZX Spectrum. Like it's NES big, it's Genesis big, it's SNES big. It's one of those. It's not one of these more like niche things. It's like an Atari 2600. It was the footprint of it was gigantic, and it's because people primarily knew it as ZX Spectrum in Europe. It doesn't immediately have that recognition here. And folks who worked for him have come forward, like since his passing, talking about how forward-looking he was with the way he handled things, like his healthcare policies and his time off policies. They always exceeded like legal mandates in Britain. He was giving people paternity leave when paternity leave wasn't mandated by law in Britain. He was providing additional coverage for like people's like healthcare when the full cost of something was deemed too expensive, like by the National Healthcare Service. He would like cover additional costs. He was paying for people to go to college. He was like, by all accounts, like a fantastic employer and somebody who believed that it was important that computers be democratized. And computers and video games would not be what they are today without this guy. And maybe go look at some of his stuff. Go look at some Spectrum games. Go look at some ZX stuff. Like he he made an enormous impact, and I don't know, like I'm selling him short here. Like maybe we need to have a Patreon special where we really dig into the history of the ZX Spectrum, but like this is a big one. Rest easy, Sir Clive. Like you did good.
Rip the dude.
Rip the dude. This is different than when we said rip grandma, I guess, you know, where we just wanted to get back to rating.
Yeah. This is actually like a tough one.
Yeah. I worry that this kind of comes off as a like old man video game news, but like he's definitely one of those Keystone people.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like the younger generation does not realize the impact of this person from the older generation, and it's important that they know.
Yeah. You would not have the video games you have if it was not for this guy. Like, so put some respect on his name. Tegan, talk about IKEA.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about IKEA with my favorite store where I buy all my stuff. No. IKEA is doing the thing that we knew they were already doing, and making gamer furniture. And I say they were already doing it because, like, so many streamers and so many gamers have some kind of IKEA desk at home that they are using as their first gaming setup. And, like, so now they're just straight up making gamer furniture. They have partnered, quote unquote, with a real expert in the world of gaming, the Republic of Gamers, to design their gamer furniture. The new gaming range is targeting PC gamers, and includes 6 product families, which I will not attempt to pronounce, because Lord knows, I can't pronounce any of the IKEA furniture.
Wait, can I try it? I want to try pronouncing these.
Yeah, go for it. I'm not about to make a fool of myself on the
Okay, so
for that.
these 6, these are 6 product families. There's the Oopspel, the Lanespeler, the Matchspel, Grubspel, Utspeler, and Hoevudspeler. Looks like.
Yep, those are them. The pieces in the line are going to be in a variety of price ranges to meet the needs of a variety of gamers. So there's going to be lower end and higher end price points, you know. Furniture offerings do and will include desks, ergonomic chairs, storage, and accessories such as a mug holder, a mouse bungee, a neck pillow, a ring light, and more. The ring light is actually already for sale on the website, as well as one set of desks that comes in white or black.
I actually need a ring light. Shit. I actually need a ring light.
Yeah, and honestly, the ring light looks, it honestly looks like a decent size. Like, it's not huge like the ones that you always see on TikTok, which is nice. It's definitely for, like, a more focused effect.
Oh, okay. So when they say gamer furniture, they mean streamer furniture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, gamer. Streamers game. And non-streamers also game. So, like, it's just, I think they're just supposed to be, they're desks that are supposed to allow for better setups if you are constantly gaming. So, like, the desk that they have available right now, that's the gamer desk, it has, like, a little shelf, a built-in shelf for your PC to rest on so that it's not sitting on the ground blocking the bottom fans. And it's got, like, a row of, like, little hooks above where your monitors would be so you can hang up your headphones. Like, built in. No extra accessory required for it. And it's up and out of the way so that you don't have to take up valuable desk space with a space to hang your fucking headset, which is nice. I can see how this is definitely appealing, especially because a lot of like intro streamers, when they're talking about how they're setting up their desks, a lot of them use mix and match IKEA parts, just because one, it's cheap, and two, all the IKEA parts fit together, so you can really mix and match and customize what you're looking for.
Right.
One of the things they will be selling in the future, it's not on the website right now, is a pegboard for the back of your thing, so you can like get everything up off of, like, out of your desk space itself, and like that I am considering picking up. I might go to IKEA and get a pegboard.
Okay. I have a question about a very specific subgenre of thing on Pornhub.
Oh, all right. Is it about the nice guy?
What's that guy's name? Like Ryan Creamer or something?
Something like that, yeah. And he's just like, you have too much to drink, so like I walk you home and tuck you in.
Yeah, like no, it's not about him. There is a subgenre of thing that happens on Pornhub, which is people secretly fucking in new IKEA displays.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gross.
What's the question?
How long is it going to take for people to secretly fuck on the new gamer furniture?
Oh, it's already happened.
Yeah, it's already happened. Just don't buy the floor model.
You heard it here first, folks. Don't buy the floor model.
Don't do it. Don't buy the floor model. We already know. You know, we know, don't do it.
Someone may have gotten pegged on the pegboard. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. I think that's all the video games this week, folks.
I mean, that's all the news.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's all the video games.
Fair enough.
Is this where you say the thing? Or are you just not going to say the thing this
Oh,
week?
You mean when I say Rocky Take Us Home?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. I was cautious about it because you see, it was this time 2 weeks ago when Sasha was on, and Rocky came for me and said, "Brian, take us home."
I thought that would be a fun joke because Tegan wasn't there, and I did the intro on that one.
Right,
like the same person does the intro usually doesn't do the outro. This is all inside baseball. Hey everyone, this is our show. It's called Impossible Coin.
It's not inside Blazeball though. That'd be a lot more complicated.
God, I miss Blazeball. When's it coming back?
Not soon enough.
October,
Jesus.
I think. As you guys know, as everyone knows, I gotta fix that too. We do this every week. You can find us where our podcasts are found. And the music at the beginning and end of this show, I just roll that together now. Like no one, okay, whatever, it's fine. The music at the beginning and end of this show was produced by our friend Big Sach. You can find his work at SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Big Sach NJ, and you can hit him up on Twitter at Hillary_Swank. Our logo is also a t-shirt, and it was designed by Lauren Moran. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren Moran and consider donating to her Patreon. We also have one of those at patreon.com/Impossible Coin Podcast, where you will find our artisanal show notes, bespoke watch-alongs, and audio essays about things we care about. And we're also on Twitch. Tegan streams Tuesday. She's playing Skyward Sword. I'm finishing up Tales of Symphonia on Wednesdays. And that's at twitch.tv/Impossible Coin. And also we are on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Brian's on Twitter. Tegan's on Tumblr. It's all Impossible Coin. No dashes, no X's, nothing weird like that. Just type it in. You'll find us. And that's us. That's the show.
I feel it might be a good time to say peace.
Bye.
Later.
It's official. You suck.